How's everybody doing tonight? I think my wife is joining me tonight, so she's going to grace us with her presence. And it's good to be back on. We were busy planting our garden and getting that all shipshape, so that's done. And we're looking forward to sharing all that with you. And I don't know if I need to wait because my wife said she was coming. I wanted to get into this article. I found it very interesting. This article is on the organic prepper. And I'm going to read through this, and it shows this hierarchical chart, which is very interesting. It's very dystopian and kind of left-right paradigm too, which I found interesting. But if I wrote that we're living in a world that bears an ever-increasing similarity to communist regimes throughout history, a lot of people would scoff and say I was being melodramatic. But research compiled by the Media Research Center and shared on social media by the Heritage Foundation shows through documents acquired via FOIA that the Biden administration is using tax dollars to actively target political opponents and dissenters as potential domestic terrorists in a program with the acronym TVTP. Now, what bothers me a little bit about the article is it's the Biden regime and this whole concept of this mechanism, right? And it's this left-right paradigm mechanism, and this machine that was built by conservatives, now that it's being used for evil, it's bad. But when they used it for 9/11, it was great and all that stuff. So this is what really bothers me when people always want to present this in a partisan light. But nevertheless, the facts are facts. It's very interesting here. It's an important read, and the supporting docs that follow the money are all here in the PDF. I originally came across the information on a very interesting episode of Dan Bongino's podcast. So here's what I'm going to do. I'll drop this in the chat so you can check the doc. So you can, is it going to let me control me? Why is it not going to let me? There we go. Sorry about that, y'all. I dropped the link in the chat so you can check out the docs. Dan Bongino is real partisan as well. But so by definition, you are an extremist, a budding domestic terrorist, a violent threat. What is TVTP? The Targeted Violence and Terrorism Prevention Grant Program is administered by the Department of Homeland Security. It provides funding. Oh, I think that's Faith. Are you coming, Mother? She's coming, y'all. She had to get all beautified. She had to get all beautified for the peoples. There she goes. In all her glorious beauty. We were gardening, y'all.
Yes.
Let me and scooch over your microphone.
Okay.
Scooch over your microphone, lady.
To fill me in.
So we're talking about the TVTP, and that is targeted violence and terrorism. I don't know. Your mic. Oh, good.
What is it?
Matt got you all set up. I didn't know if your mic might have been turned off, but it's not. Okay. The Targeted Violence and Terrorism Prevention Grant Program is administered by DHS. It provides funding to funds. It provides funding to funds to public, private, and nonprofit institutions like colleges, universities, and county governments to establish or enhance capabilities to prevent targeted violence and terrorism.
I think that was an error in it. It provides funding to fund private,
maybe
public.
But there's funds too. So
it's so fun. It's like there's so much AI writing articles today.
On the face, it doesn't sound that bad, but when you look closer, you'll see that this funding is only doled out to the groups that align with a specific agenda. And that agenda is to target conservatives, Christians, and Republicans in what MRC calls a coordinated effort to make America into a one-party system. My contention is that America is already a one-party system. We need no further than to look at the debt ceiling, right? We need no further to look at the war in the Ukraine. All of the district of criminals, they all get together, left and right, red and blue, independent, right? And they're all like, yeah, we need to send billions of dollars to the Ukraine, right? But wait a minute. In 3 months, there's going to be a debt ceiling. Oh, I forgot about that. I mean, we've been given the keys to the kingdom and we're the smartest people in the room and we're supposed to run this stuff. But I forgot that if we send a hundreds of billions of dollars to the Ukraine, it might mess up our debt ceiling. It's absurd. It's absurd. Fox News reports the Biden administration has awarded 80 grants through the TVTP, totaling just under 40 million. The lowest grants was for 85,000. The highest was over 1.1 million, and the median was about 442,000. The TVTP grant recipients are prohibited from engaging in viewpoint discrimination, according to DHS. Started by the Barry Soetoro administration under a different name, the TVTP was broadened and revamped by the Biden administration with a new focus on violent extremism and white supremacy. DHS named one of its TVTP goals as media literacy and online critical thinking initiatives, which many grantees listed as the mission of their projects.
Online critical thinking.
Yeah, that's the opposite. That they actually want you to not think when you're online. Mm-hmm. One such grantee was the University of Dayton for its Prevents Ohio program, which DHS awarded $352,000 to draw on the expertise of the University of Dayton faculty to fight domestic violence, extremism, and hate movements. The university's grant application submitted to DHS linked in a footnote to a controversial Dayton conference where an academic researcher presented a chart titled The Pyramid of Far-Right Radicalization. This is why you cannot send your children to these colleges and these universities. That's where all of this psychopathy thinking came from. All this critical theory.
It's interesting that we don't have a pyramid of far left radicalization. Like you would think,
like Weather Underground.
Well, no, just, I'm not going to go through it and get us demonetized for this video, but I just think that it's so strange to have.
I think it's hilarious how, like, at the bottom of the pyramid, there's Fox News when everybody knows that Fox News is a hoax. There's, the Republican Party. There's the NRA has sold out the gun owners of America a long time ago. They're absolutely part of the system. The Heritage Foundation is a right-wing think tank. They're co-opted. The American Conservative Union Foundation, all of these nonprofits, PragerU, then you got the MAGA thing there. It's just
wow.
The 3%ers,
So this is the progression of conservative.
Yeah, and then you get all this crazy stuff up here that nobody's ever seen any of this stuff before. Of course, you have a swastika
at level 3.
The Daily Stormer.
And this was at Dayton, in Dayton, Ohio.
Yeah, this was
the University of, is it
Macaulay and Maslenki?
Yeah, but this is what they
sounds like a Russian co-op.
Wow.
But, so if you support the NRA, I mean, first off, anybody that cares anything about gun rights knows that the NRA is total trash, right? So that's why this is kind of funny. So if you support the NRA or a Republican, the consume media right of CNN, back your local cops, or are a Trump supporter, according to this pyramid, means you're well on your way to a lifetime membership to the KKK and a free white hooded outfit. It conflates these innocent acts as stepping stones to becoming a neo-Nazi and joining a hate group. Meanwhile, we are funding the Azov battalion in the Ukraine. So to summarize, and both left and right funded that, by the way. And there's a fly on my mic. It's driving me nuts. So to summarize, if you're not with them, you are against them, and your own government has thrown 40 million taxpayer dollars at organizations who are trying to figure out how to identify you. One of the most radical grant recipients was quite disturbing. The University of Dayton received, the web page describing their program is mysteriously down. So that's interesting. And a time travel trip in the Wayback Machine only shows us a calendar, which we can all agree is most likely not the original use of that page. According to MRC, Prevents Ohio hosted a series of events that maliciously equated mainstream organizations with neo-Nazis
Wow.
and other extremist hate groups. One of their events is where University of Cincinnati researcher Michael Lodenthal rolled out the pyramid of far-right extremists.
Wow.
He's a self-proclaimed member of Antifa.
Hmm. Wow.
At this event, Lodenthal explained how anti-fascists could pressure financial services like GoFundMe, Patreon, PayPal, Venmo, and others, or pressure 5 retailers like Amazon, service providers like Airbnb and Tinder in order to kick people off. Please pressure Tinder to kick people off and to collapse and to go to hell where it was spawned. It's so hilarious. We're going to pressure Tinder. Good. Why any self-respecting person would be on Tinder is insane. Hey, Richard from Nova Scotia. He gave specific advice on how to create dummy accounts on social media platforms like Gab, Telegram, and Rumble in order to paralyze movements and manufacture infighting. Lodenthal, and there's already signature reduction where the deep state industrial intelligence complex already does all that. That's why this article is a little bit weird, because it's heavily right centric, and it ignores all of the faux pas and faults of the right. And then secondarily, it's saying like, this guy in Ohio said, we could do this stuff on these different platforms, basically casting shade on signature reduction and all the CIA, FBI stuff that already goes on by 60,000 invisible peoples, which would be far greater than anything that this recommendation from some guy, some professor in Cincinnati. I mean, stop it. That's what's a little bit weird about it. But nonetheless, it existed, and people sat there and listened to this trash. In his presentation, Lodenthal boasted openly that a lot of things we're doing are illegal, and a lot of it involves breaking the law. Welcome to 1984, y'all. He claimed that this was necessary because hate speech is more than speech. It's materially, it's organizing, it's mobilization. It's not an exchange of ideas in the marketplace and the best one wins. Something else. Yeah, it's propaganda, it's brainwashing. It's the strategic deployment of organizational energy and power. Censorship efforts are not enough to fight against so-called fascists. Lodenthal outrageously claimed, also calling for a more aggressive approach to deny people that, to shut down their website, to close their meetings, and physically prevent them from assembling in public. That would be a violation of the Constitution.
Right. But he's a professor at college.
But
so
he's a professor.
Probably a socialist, communist.
Lodenthal also displayed infographic instructions to teach attendees how to infiltrate social media platforms to identify targets, create dossiers, surveillance, interfere, misdirect, and disrupt. Once again, this is all already being done, and all of these social media platforms are cutouts for In-Q-Tel and all these other, clandestine, deep state, unelected agencies. These events also hosted people who think Florida Governor Ron DeSanctimonious might try to conduct a second Holocaust. Oh, of course, they're going to use the whole Zionist flair. And they always do the whole Zionist stuff. It is hilarious. Through a 2021 proposed civilian military force, and another dude who compared Trump with the Khmer Rouge Pol Pot regime, which perpetuated a genocide that killed at least 1.7 million Cambodians. Man, I think it was way more than that. I always thought it was like 20 million Cambodians, but maybe I'm mistaken. I thought it was way more than 1.7 million. But look out for the pesky Republicans. That's the real threat. Yeah, well, actually, look at who funded Pol Pot and the rest of the Anglo-American establishment and all these communists and Heinz Kissinger and Brzezinski Brzezinski and the deep state and the CIA under Ronnie Reagan and the conservatives. That's when a lot of this stuff happened. Was pre-Reagan and post-Reagan and Iran-Contra. It was all the same guys.
Right. And then Bush wrapped it up.
Yeah.
During the 9/11.
Yeah, bringing in a new world order. But now those Republicans are bad and shady, and they're like globalists. But the new Republicans are conservatives and populists and all. Well, it's really strange.
I was just thinking about the Patriot Act too.
Yeah.
That was like a big turning point.
It's exactly like Donald Trump attacking Ron DeSanctimonious about and saying that Cuomo did a better job in New York than DeSanctimonious did in Florida. And that is just, one, it's patently false. Two, Cuomo should be tried for a death crimes for killing all those old people in the old folks' homes. But yeah, it's really wild. And, and somehow in the Republicard circles, this all gets painted as, well, this is just political punditry to get the nomination, like all the lock up Hillary stuff that never happened, and it's just.
Well, there's so many other things that he could talk about. There's so many other talking points
that are legitimate.
Right. To bring up the pandemic and then to be like, Cuomo did this awesome job of handling it.
Yeah. And I'm not a CIA DeSantis fan by any stretch of the imagination, but DeSantis said, when I was getting all the data in the beginning, I read it wrong, I interpreted it wrong, and I acted wrong, but we adjusted, right? And Trump's like, no, everything's great. I locked down the country. That was a good move. I funded Warp Speed. It was tremendous. Look at all the people we saved. He just never takes the rap for anything. He never has made a mistake. He never needs to repent to God because he's never done anything wrong. And he literally said that. And that's the guy that people think is going to save the country. And they literally worship him like the Messiah. There's that too. So that's weird. Okay. The Biden admin spent $40 billion. The Biden admin awarded 80 TVTP grants totaling $39 million because, we got a really big budget. You got to spend it somewhere. The lowest grant. Okay, I already read that. Sorry about that. 48% have gone to private organizations such as lettuce, gravy, bacon, tomato, and the Koran Plus advocacy group out Boulder County and the aforementioned University of Dayton. Of course, it went to some university or college instead of focusing on preventing actual violence and terrorism. A staggering number of grantees appear to be with the DHS's knowledge using the funds to target the Biden administration's political opponents through the guise of so-called training seminars for topics such as media literacy and online critical thinking initiatives. Now, here's the problem. The Republicans were super cool when we were doing this all over the world and disrupting all these other supposed Democratic blah, blah, blah. They were super cool with it. And now that we're doing it on U.S. dirt, now all of a sudden it's terrible. But everybody was cool with it when we were doing it everywhere else. And everybody was very cool with it when we did it in the Ukraine and they pumped hundreds of billions of dollars over there. But when they do it here and it happens to you, it's not cool. But this all needs to be redacted, and it's a matter of national security.
Every time I see online critical thinking initiatives, I just think of like Hitler's propaganda. Like I just think of how, Germany was overtaken with just the propaganda from the government that was put out. And you just see our government funding, thinking initiatives. That's just a scary concept.
What's amazing to me is how censored online is, there's still truth can still leak out. And I know they're working on that to put the nail in the coffin on that. That's why we keep begging people, hey, create a parallel society, create a parallel community. They could flip the switch on this whole thing. The District of Criminals, they all got sat phones now, y'all. So that way they can turn off the switch, and the criminals can still communicate with each other, and they can still get all their stipends and funds and boondoggles and pork barrels and all that cool stuff. Let me be clear. You may think this doesn't affect you if you're not a Republican or a Christian, but it does. Well, I am not a Republican. I am a Christian, and it does affect me.
Right.
It affects all of us. It's totally illegal and it's terrible.
It's going to affect all of us. Yeah. He says, I myself,
I myself have been targeted, defunded, defamed repeatedly over the years, and I regularly state that I am neither a conservative nor a Republican. That's interesting. I'm very carefully secular in my work. In fact, a recent attack by the group NewsGuard downgraded me because I refused to lie and say my website has a right-wing bias. It does not. In all honesty, I would definitely say that
wow.
the gaping holes in this article are
Look at
definitely
this.
right-wing bias.
Right-wing people are not safe. Libertarians are not safe. Christians are not safe. Neutral people are not safe.
I completely agree with that.
If
you're not for them, you're against them, and you are conflated with extremists and domestic terrorists by your own government. Now, here's the problem, y'all. When the database and the Al-Qaeda and all that stuff, and the Mujahideen, and this is all Iran-Contra leftovers, right? All Iran-Contra recycles. When there was all this Islamic extremism, we're like, yeah, scorched earth and, torch the sand till it glows in the dark and it becomes a sheet of glass. And you had some preachers like signing Scud missiles, like totally satanic stuff, right? And it's the same thing now, except it's weaponized against us. And you need to be honest enough to point it out on both sides. And you certainly need to wake up from the paradigm, right? And this is going to play into this whole Russia-China thing too. Okay. And that doesn't mean, that Russia is clearly bad. China is clearly bad. The Ukraine is clearly bad. The US is clearly bad. Okay. Now we're all the plebs, y'all. And we fund all this stuff and we're in the middle of it. Okay. But this is the beast system, and the beast is going to beast. And the founders talked about chaining the beast. There used to be a counterbalance of power with the puppet president thing, and then the Supreme Court that consists of Catholics and Talmudic Jews, and then the Senate and Congress and all that stuff. None of that stuff exists anymore. There's executive orders, and there are no checks and balances to the beast system power, and the beast just rages. It beasts out. Let's take a quick look at the other regimes that targeted dissenters. This isn't the first government that went after those who dissented. There's a long and horrifying list of dreadful periods in history, both ancient and modern, when those in power sought to stay in power by villainizing the opposition. And I would say that they get their stuff done whether they stay in power or not. Bush got all his stuff done, and Barry Soetoro is getting all his stuff done. And it just keeps on going. And now we supposedly have a president that can't even wipe his own behind, and supposedly he's doing all this stuff, and homeboy can't even handle his own bodily functions. This isn't the first government. Before someone in the comments yells at me, this list is not comprehensive. I haven't lost all credibility because I admitted your favorite despotic government. This is just a handful of examples. I'm not writing a full-length book here. This is what it would take to name everyone. Philippine leader Rodrigo Duterte, had a brutal history of silencing the opposition. One example was Dave Al death squad that killed over 700 dissenters and was allowed to operate without prosecution. He also saw to it that the political opponent, Senator Lila de Lima, was imprisoned after she opposed him. Russian President Vladimir Putin is well known for eliminating opposition politicians, exploiting the justice system, and branding journalists critical of the Kremlin as foreign agents, and this is only intensified during the war with Ukraine. Opposition groups in Bangladesh have been violently repressed by ruling party supporters, and those supporters have not faced legal consequences for their actions. I mean, one thing I would do is if you're going to bring up Vladimir Putin and the Ukraine, I think you should point out Volodymyr Zelensky and all the junk that he's done with and against Christians, right? And the fact that he was a comedian and he played musical instruments with his nude genitalia and all that stuff, and somehow he's supposedly president. And he has absconded millions of dollars. I think he has a net worth over 100 million now, by the way. But remember all those people who faced criminal consequences after the Brazilian election? They were most definitely not on the side that is in power. And those are just some recent examples. Clearly, I'd be remiss if I left out Hitler and communist China. What we're seeing is not unique in and of itself. No, you're watching the Anglo-American establishment total control of the world, and it's the remineralization of the English Empire, and it's Belt and Roads Initiative and Cecil Rhodes and all that stuff. Opium wars, all that stuff. It's a dangerous time to disagree. This is an incredibly dangerous and confusing times. Prudence demands that we be gray and try to stay off the radar, yet freedoms demand that we refuse to be silent. If you're engaged in the practice of regularly defending freedom in America, criticizing the government, or standing up for your rights, you should take great care to abide by the law. Make sure your taxes are paid, that you don't speed, and that you don't publicly threaten others, and that you don't provide an easy route to being punished. And I think that is brilliant advice. And that's why I pay my taxes, because I don't, that's why I have a driver's license and I get all the sovereign citizen stuff, but I have bigger fish to fry and bigger things to fight for that we personally believe are much larger in scope. And I'm very thankful for all those people that want to fight the tax war and they want to fight the driver's license thing. And I believe that there's credibility to all that. And if they want to invest the time to do that, I think it's great. I'm not going to do it. And, we don't have time to do it. We have more important things. And so that's why I don't do that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Do not go gentle into that good night. Rage against the dying of the light. What do you think of all this? What are your thoughts about the extorted tax dollars going to fund the silencing of our dissent? What are your thoughts about the DHS targeting people based on their political philosophies? Will you go the gray route or kicking and screaming route? Let's discuss. So I posted the link. I'll put it again here in the comments for y'all. And I thought it was really good. There's another article. I don't think we have to talk about that right now. We'll probably talk about it on another video. I don't usually have my beautiful wife on the live streams. So, and I know she's been wanting to talk. Did you want to talk again about the courses, Mother?
Sure. It would be a good time, right?
It's a good time. It's a good time as any. Thank all y'all for being on here now.
Yes, we have 2 new courses coming out. They are going to be launching June 30th. So you have some time, but you can go over to TheTexasBoys.com and check them out. One is our very first parenting course, and it's just going to be going over just our ideas on parenting and how we've applied them over the years and our experience, and just real practical nitty-gritty kind of things. You can go check out all the details of it over on the TexasBoys.com. And then the boys actually launched a course, my 3 older sons, and it's called Fearless Young Men. And their course is also launching June 30th, and they are going to be running that course. And that is geared to young men, boys. They said about the ages of like 8 to 10 years old, all the way up to 99 years old. Anybody can benefit from that. So anyway, we're really excited about the courses. There's so much with them. And
it's part of the solution, that our country's been co-opted. The nuclear family has been obliterated. We've been sold a bill of goods about the dual income family. Well, since Bretton Woods and Nixon killed the gold standard, there's no way to make it on one income. And so I have to work outside the home and all this stuff. And that we are paying the price. It's easy. Look, here's the thing. It's real easy to blame the lizard people, right? It's real easy to blame Klaus Schwab and all that stuff. But the thing is, what the solution is you live your life in such a way, right? You have to live your life in such a way. Bill Mollison said permaculture is sedition, right? What the solution is what you're doing every day. It's not enough. It's certainly not voting every 4 years or every 2 years. It's certainly not that, right? You're not voting your way out of this. God is coming back. He's pretty sure he's not going to be happy when he comes back. So the first thing you need to do is settle your account with the God of the Bible, the creator of the universe, right? You need to settle your account with him. And then the next thing you need to do is live your life in such a way. 1, such a way that pleases God. This fly. 2, in such a way that you are solving the problem. Like, for example, there's lots of young guys like Tim Pool, Jason Burmis, Luke Rudowski, right? And they'll talk about the deconstruction of the nuclear family in the Western society, right?
I have to moderate something there. Yeah, so I think just focused on families is the best thing that we could do, is just just focusing our time and energy on our own families and training them up and raising them. That is our only hope moving forward, is not going to be in the universities and in all of the propaganda machines.
What am I missing, Mom?
Okay. I wasn't sure if there was something
No,
over
I don't
there.
see nothing.
Okay. Yeah, so go check out the courses. We're really excited about them. They're very, very interactive. They both come with very extensive course companions.
And we'll have private Telegram groups for each course. So you all be able to
Yes.
interact with each other. You'll be able to interact with us.
Yes.
And
then we're
it's
going
going
to
to be
have
great. It's going to be lots of fun.
4 live sessions. So 1 each week for 4 weeks. If you sign up early before June 30th, though, you get an extra live session with us. And then on the live sessions, it's going to be private, and we're going to be able to just take you through step by step every single aspect of the course and help people to work through that and answer all their questions. And
the course will continue to grow. We'll add components and segments, and it will improve. So we're looking forward to that as well. It's not the end, it's just the beginning. So that'll be neat. But yeah, what I was saying is, after you settle your account with God, right, you live in such a way as, one, God teaches you like how big of an idiot you are and where you falter and fail. And he gives you the Holy Spirit to help you to improve, for lack of a better term, as a person. And, then, well, there's a problem with food. Okay, well, let's grow some food. I mean, it's literally that simple. Oh, but the chemtrails yeah, okay, I get it, Eeyore. I get it. Okay, I know about the chemtrails. I know they're spraying. What are you doing to detoxify yourself, right? What are you doing? Well, I'm just going to curl over and die. I'm going to roll over and wet on myself and die. Well, I mean, put a fork in it. Why are you watching this? Like, just get it over with. You know what I mean? Hey, I hope you're not here. I mean, that's reality, y'all. And so, and what are we doing for the next generation, right? What are we modeling
Yep.
for them? What are we showing them, right? Are we just
Absolutely.
showing them like, oh, just protests? We need to,
Yeah.
you know what? I'm going to wait till the next protest in Washington, D.C. And I think, what's it going to be at this year? Is it going to be on January 6th? Yeah, I'm going to go to that. This is the craziest thing. Like when they mentioned that whole January 6th thing, I'm like, there's no way on any planet that I would go there because it's a setup and all this stuff is co-opted, right? And there's no way that I would do that because it's a setup. And you had all these guys, you had Trump set everybody up, right? And then they throw all these people in prison. They're still rotting there. And Trump has an enormous amount of pull and clout and everything else, and he's doing nothing about it. And he goes on CNN, and does he say, I'm getting all these people out of there? No. And they're rotting. And there are some people that deserve to be. There are some people that deserve to be in there. But probably most of the people that were all feds and CIAs are not in jail, and they did the most stuff. So,
Lyle, there's some really great YouTube channels out there that are up in Canada, and they grow a
like
lot.
Off Grid with Curtis Stone.
Yes, and there's lots of people. Just look around, and you'll find there's different ways to grow things, and also you can
check out the Freedom Cell Network. There could be cool people growing stuff in your area.
Yes, and there's also really great like foraging type resources up there in Canada. There's like a lot of things that you can actually forage that we don't have access to down here. So yeah, you might want to go check that out. Also, just a small greenhouse would just do wonders for extending your growing season as well up there.
What is up, y'all? This is what kind of cracks me up a little bit about social media is electro culture is now the newest, greatest, and latest thing. And, I've seen a little bit about this before in the past. You put a copper rod in the ground, right? And I've seen stuff about this in the past. And then we're at the Exit and Build Summit, and Jack Spirko's got a breakout thing on biochar, and somebody asks about electroculture, and then like everybody is like, "Are you doing electroculture in your garden?" It's so bizarre. I'm not saying that it doesn't work, y'all, but it's really funny how this trendy stuff, and I'm not saying it could work incredibly, but it's really funny. Yeah, it's really weird, but it's interesting.
Oh.
This fly is, y'all, this is like Beelzebub.
We live on a farm.
Yes, we do. And there's one fly in here, and it needs to poop on my face, apparently.
So we were getting a lot done this weekend in the garden, and the garden is going great. We got everything planted today, finished up. We got watermelon, we got pumpkin,
sunflowers, lots
of sunflowers this year.
Sweet potatoes.
Me and Grace were saying this is probably going to be the prettiest garden that we've ever grown because lots of flowers. So, yeah, what else? We got all the sweet potatoes planted.
Oh, we also did an interview with the Epoch Times that'll be coming out shortly. So we'll share that with y'all. I thought it was really neat. I thought it went really well.
I'm not woke, but I'm awake. I like it. That's awesome.
I like it.
That's so great. I was going to say hi to somebody up here.
What were you going to say? Who
Dash Hound Homestead.
Yeah.
Where is she at?
Right there.
This Dash Hound Life Homestead. Yeah. I was just going to say hi to you because I saw you were interacting in the comments over there. And it's funny, my little kids, they have a new favorite YouTube channel, and it's all say dash hounds or dachshunds. I don't know. Yeah. So anyway, it's
dash hounds or dachshunds. I think they're kind of the same thing. I think it's like a East Coast, West Coast, whatever.
Yeah, they're super cute. Anyway, it's just a great channel. So if you have little kids, what is it called? Crusoe?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. The food forest in a box, they're only when the plants are dormant. So, they were cuttings that you root, and you root them in the fall. Well, actually, in my opinion, the best way to do it, the most foolproof way to do it, is to buy your food forest in a box in the fall and the winter, keep it in a crisper till the spring, and you'll probably have your best results. But I always like tinkering with that stuff year round, so I'm always doing that kind of stuff.
K&J says, I say dash hound, it's cuter. Yeah, I think the channel's like called Crusoe, but I'm not sure. It's super cute. It's super cute.
Whatever.
If your little ones are learning how to read, everything's written too, and they go on these little adventures.
Texas Mom says it's cute. It probably is.
It's
really, I think it's kind of dumb.
It's really cute. It's Crusoe, and the little girl is a long-haired dash hound, and her name is Daphne. And they go on all these adventures.
You know way too much about this.
It's really cute. Well, I've had some sick kids for the past week, so we've watched a lot of Crusoe and Daphne. So you can check them out.
We had our 5th bout of the variant of the whatever, y'all. It's so insane. We never used to get sick. Our kids certainly never, ever got sick. And if they ever did actually get something, it never lasted for 24 hours. But now that we are in this new world normal with types and variants and whatever, it's insane.
It's kind of weird. Yeah.
Yeah, it's totally insane, but
It's
whatever.
weird.
We try, fail, adjust, we roll.
I think it's nothing like that's particular special to us. Like, I think everybody's kind of dealing with that stuff.
One way to keep kids off social media, there's no way that any kid or young man that isn't married should have a smartphone that has access to the internet.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an absolutely,
or a young lady.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, any child or young man or young lady or whatever,
Yeah.
nobody before they're married definitely should not have untethered access to the internet.
We've had really great experience with, first we used the Gab phone, just GAB phone.
And then we switched to TrueMe. TrueMe is definitely better. They have a better phone and a better plan.
Right. And it's TROOMI, TrueMe, and it's not a smartphone. There are some apps on it, but they're just like child friendly apps, but it does have GPS on it, which is really nice because
great functionality, but they can't access the devil possessed internet.
Right. They don't have social media sites or anything like that on it. It has like a calculator, a calendar. I think they can download their music onto it. What else is on there? It's just real basic. He has like
they can do audiobooks on there.
They have audiobooks, Bible app. I forget. There's certain things, but it is limited. But our oldest son, who is 18, he loves his TrueMe phone, and now our second son, James, also has a TrueMe phone, and it's great. I mean, I would have one. The only reason that I have a smartphone is because we use it for the channel. But other than that, I would totally be fine with the TrueMe.
I don't understand any thinking adult that doesn't have total head full of rocks. Why anybody would, 1, give their child a smart device, 2, let them on some social media, 3, let them interact back and forth on social media, like and
TrueMe's like $25 a month per plan, and I think you can just cancel whenever, and it's just great. It's been great. We've had it for, I don't know, at least 2 years now. Before that, we had Gab, and then my son liked a couple of the things on TrueMe better, so we switched over to that. So it's really cheap, it's inexpensive, and we've tried to do it with our regular phone carriers, but it's just impossible. Like, you can't even get a non-smart phone and have GPS. He wanted to have GPS so that way he can, like, drive and get to appointments and meet people and do things. So yeah.
Well, one way to have more fathers like me is to get our parenting course and follow it and do the workbook. And
it's going to be great.
I wish it was that easy.
We are so excited about the parenting course. I don't think that we ever thought we'd have a parenting course, but it's just been, I think we have some experience under our belt now. Our oldest just turned 18, and we just want to share a lot of things and just experience that we've had, and just encourage other parents that are trying to raise their children in this crazy world.
I totally, I want to get a dumb phone and one of these like black and white phones. Unfortunately, with my work right now, everything is phone based. So I'm stuck with it a little bit, but I'm waiting for the EMP, y'all. I keep saying, don't threaten me with a good time. Bring on the EMP. And I have 400 fruit trees, y'all. And look, I like talking to y'all and interacting and sharing and doing all this cool stuff. But if all this junk melted, oh, you just don't know. I don't know.
He
I
would.
just got incredible news today, y'all. And it's incredible how the tiniest things that you don't even think are like bothering you. And then you're like, wait, what a minute. And they're like, then you're just like, wow, it's incredible. I didn't know that. That really feels good. But we do take colloidal silver.
Yeah, maybe we need
And
to be more
maybe I just need to
regimented
drink it
about
every
it.
day.
I guess we do. Need to get some fruit trees. Yes, you do, Sunny Days. You need to get fruit trees. Everybody should have a couple fruit trees.
Okay, one thing that they're not doing is covertly constructing homes nearby with smart devices because there are no homes nearby. That's the way we chose for it to be, and there aren't any. So they're definitely not doing that.
Yeah, that's one thing we don't have. I don't think the cows have smartphones.
Now, there's a
yet,
possibility that they've retrofitted some of these Longhorns with fake Longhorns that emit like 5 and 6G and all that stuff, but not likely.
So what else can we talk about?
I was going to talk about something else since I had you on here, and
yeah, we're
it's
just
escaping me at the moment.
Yeah, so spread the word if you know any parents, young parents, older parents,
Grandparents now.
grandparents.
Why not? Hey, you got to start sometime.
If you know any young men, teenage boys, or even young boys,
Oh, you
they're
guys are
just
in zone 8. You're so fortunate. I'm in zone 8 too, so I can't grow citrus. But
yeah, the courses are going to be awesome, and we're just so excited about building that community. So
I have lots of
can you
pure
drop the
silver.
link? They want us to drop the link.
The link for the what? Oh, for the
to
course?
courses,
Yeah, sure. Oh man, I had that open. Hold on a second. Maybe I still do. I do, y'all. I do. Check me out. I'll put the parenting course, and then if you scroll to the top, you'll find the young men's course. So
yes. And what else? We got honey. I still have a couple gallons of honey left here.
So TV show with fake CI cows, huh? We still have honey, and we're already restocking because y'all love the honey. The honey money. Y'all need honey money. Honey will last forever.
Yes. Yeah.
And you do need to leave the city. And I know you say that you can't, but you got to do it. Okay. How much will it cost for the parenting course? Click on the link.
Yes.
And it'll walk you through it.
Yeah, you can go.
And if you're a native, there's a discount.
Yeah, there's discounts with it. So
and then if you get both, if you get one, there's a 20% discount off the other.
Yes.
And the pecan honey is incredible.
Yes, I think we have some more of that to go pick up. I think that's our #1 seller is the pecan honey and the big gallons of honey. I think y'all are prepping some honey. So that is a good thing to prep. We're going to be doing another prep with me video probably coming up this week.
All right. Another pantry video, prepper pantry.
I've been having a lot of fun with them. That's been really awesome.
Matt's having fun editing those.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. It's 2 huge mulberry trees. Man, I'm telling you what, y'all. I've been collecting different varieties of mulberries, and there's some really good mulberries out there. Don't laugh. I would not watch Joel. I would not watch Smiley Joel. I wouldn't send him your money either.
She is repulsed by him. Oh my!
Smiley Joel's a PMA FEMA pastor, so I wouldn't. There's really poorly written books that are better than Smiley Joel.
Yes,
and he's our character.
Oh my! Oh my! How long have we been on here for?
We've been on here for 49 minutes and 50 seconds, Mother.
All righty, y'all. Well, if you have any questions for us, shoot away at your questions.
Okay. We're not going to talk about it on this video, but I want to do a stem cell update video, and I want to do kind of like a standalone stem cell video, maybe do like a stem cell Q&A thing or a stem cell AMA or whatever. Because, and I'm thankful to the Lord, but it's amazing. It's amazing at how terrible my shoulder was in real life. And then it's amazing how well the single treatment is working, because I was told that I would have improvement for 3 months, and it's been almost 6 months and I'm still improving.
Yes.
So it is very, dare I say, miraculous, but I want to do, I don't know how many people are interested. I didn't, and the other reason I want to do the video is because when I was researching the whole thing, there wasn't a ton of stuff out there, and there certainly wasn't a ton of personal testimony. So I'd really like to document that and put it out there just to help other people. And I would absolutely recommend the specialist that I went to. He is absolutely incredible, and he totally knows his stuff. And I could talk about both sides of that, like the big pharma supposed stem cell stuff. So yes, and I've drank enough bone broth to sink the Titanic.
Yeah.
But when your labrum is gone, it's gone. So
yes,
no amount of bone broth is going to grow your labrum back.
Yeah. Not from his own stem
My
cells.
stem cells.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
suck it out of your hip.
His.
That's the only way to.
Yes.
That's the only, even, and just so you know, even the stem cells from supposed babies or whatever, if they're not taking out your bone marrow and spinning it and turning it into stem cells and in turn shooting it directly back into you,
like within minutes,
it's not anything.
Like
they're dead.
A few minutes time. Yeah,
they're dead. So that's one of the things with stem cells, and that's a good thing, because I certainly am not getting any. I am not a lizard person. I don't work at the District of Criminals, and I'm not into adrenochrome or any type of aborted fetal tissue in my Pepsi or Coca-Cola, and that's why I don't drink soda. Right. I said every happy high note on that one.
Oh boy. So let's see. Oh, so we got tomatoes in the garden.
Lots of maters. And we are fully implementing the Mittlighter gardening method. And I will be having Lucinda on from Texas Ready. So y'all, we're going to be carrying all of Texas Ready's products on our website. So I'll have the gardening book people have asked. We're going to have the trace minerals. We're going to have all of their seed banks and heirloom stuff. We just have to get it on the website.
Yeah.
And then I've already talked with Texas Ready and the ordering process, and all their stuff will drop ship directly from them. So it should be nice and quick and seamless and pretty cool. And we're going to be bringing more affiliates on the website. So we're looking forward to that too.
Yeah, super cool. Yeah, so we have all of our summer stuff planted up in the Mittlighter portion of the garden. And the boys are going to be working on getting like the trellis poles put in place and getting all that done, so that way we can do all the vining stuff with the tomatoes.
We have our Haas jade bush beans planted, and they're absolutely incredible.
You ordered our little trowel today, right?
The one wheel Haas tool, which is really cool.
You ordered that today?
Yeah. Yeah, and we'll be doing videos on that. We're Haas affiliates as well. They have great products. They have great seeds.
So it's kind of exciting because we've been gardening since, well, we gardened some up north too before we came down, but that's a whole different planet up there. So gardening is a
In
whole,
so many ways.
it's a whole different thing down here. So we had to relearn everything we thought we knew about gardening. And somebody said, tell me about gardening in the South or in Texas specifically. And I said, forget everything you ever thought you knew about gardening, because it's all different down here.
It's all about water management down
Yeah.
here. And then we will not be gardening in July and August,
fire ants
and fire ants,
thorns, and
but fire ants kill the ticks, y'all. So
yes.
How do you guys avoid buying hay sprayed with Graze on? That is not easy.
That is not easy.
And people love their glyphosate down here.
Yes.
And they like spray it as like mouthwash or
sometimes
something.
if you can get the first cutting before they spray it, there's some farmers down here that will do a first cutting and then spray. So sometimes that helps. And also if you always ask the question first when you're calling around looking for hay, always ask, is it sprayed and fertilized? And they're going to say, yeah, it is. It's really good stuff, because they think it's great that it's sprayed, because that means there's no weeds in it and it's really great. But then I found that out, because if you sometimes, not all the time, but if you lead with the question, I'm looking for unsprayed hay, or, you know, what kind of fertilizer did you use in the hay? There are some people that will try to cater to what you're looking to buy.
Yeah, they'll say, oh yeah, this ain't got no spray on it.
Yeah.
Hairspray.
But if you lead with that, and then like, you're not looking for that,
Right,
like, oh yeah, sorry. But beggars can't be choosers too. I mean, there are times when you just have to feed your animals, and you know, it's just like people that just want to eat organic food. And, you know, if you're starving to death, just go eat some regular food. I mean, don't starve to death. Like, eat something. Something is better than nothing if you're starving. So, anyway, it's difficult.
Silencing journalists. The KGB is alive and well in Russia. And Putin isn't some orthodox puritanical dude, okay? All right. And Xi Jinping isn't great either, but I mean, these people that are trying to paint Vladimir Putin, even if Vladimir Putin's even still alive, I don't know if you've seen the Shakes videos of him with the DTs or whatever he has, Parkinson's, but we don't even know which Putin's which. You know, there aren't any good governments, y'all. I mean, it's all some crazy nonsense that we still want to try to like dialectic and, oh, there's hope if we could just support Russia. No way, dude. Russia is just as bad. Can you grow moringa where you are at? Yes, we can. And I just planted like 20 pots of moringa. I was told, well, John, who's the green juice guy? John Kohler, right? So John Kohler has a large moringa tree in his backyard, and he says if the caliper gets bigger than an inch, you should be able to deep mulch it. So I had a really awesome, huge moringa tree in the back food forest, and I super heavy mulched the bottom up a good 18 inches, and I'm like, well, and then what happened is when all the chickens were back there, they scratched off all the mulch, and it died and burned it to the ground. So I no longer have, which if I was smart, I would have cut the tree to like 18 inches, mulched it, and like put a trash can over or something, but I didn't do that. But next time, maybe. So I'm going to work on that. But yeah, we're going to have moringa trees, plural. But yeah, we have a greenhouse. So we'll definitely, Lord willing, we'll always have moringa trees. But I do have moringa trees. Sounds bad. I'm not a deep mulch dude. Bummer, man. I love deep mulch. I'm a deep mulch guy.
Well, it just works out that we're able to get a lot of wood chips. So that's been a huge blessing. It's kind of weird this year to not have wood chips on the garden yet. Like, I just keep wanting to put wood chips.
Well, I think Putin wants to be at the top of the food pyramid, just like every other despot. Dude, like Putin has eliminated and eradicated, and if the oligarchs play, if the Russian oligarchs play, they get to stay, and if they don't, they get vaped, right? And tell me what Putin's net worth is. Nobody knows, but it's definitely within the billions. So there's that, y'all. I'm not into the pooty poot thing. It's just it's a different flavor of the dialectic. You know what I mean?
I'm putting in here for you.
It is definitely not hard to germinate moringa. If you get good, I got moringa seeds from Howie at he's up in British Columbia. He sent me seeds. They sprouted immediately. And then this next batch of moringa seeds I got on a Facebook fruit tree group. Somebody wanted mulberry cuttings, and I said, "Hey, I'll send you a bunch of mulberry cuttings if you'll send somebody here in Texas." And they sent me a ton of moringa seeds, and they all immediately have no issues with that at all. Yeah. I mean, like really easy.
Once you get them started, they grow like crazy. And you'll have to actually cut them back and everything. But moringa, for those of you who don't know, it's like a superfood, and there's a lot of health benefits to moringa. And what you're just harvesting is the leaves. So it's just the green leaves off of the tree. And then you're just going to dry them. And you can make them into a powder and then just add them into your food or a smoothie or whatever. And it's just like really, really great. Just there's so many benefits to moringa. It's just really great for you. So yeah.
Oh, deep mulch in the deep south, too humid. I get it. I understand. It's kind of humid here though. Yeah. Mulch really helps us manage when it's dry.
Yeah. But every property is so different. And we're not, I mean, I don't know where you are in the deep south. If you're like somewhere like Arkansas or Alabama, you have more moisture.
I would assume that maybe they're deeper south than us.
Even South Texas, I mean, there's some parts that just are way more humid than, I mean, we're drier than some parts of like the deep east.
Tennessee. Somebody's in Tennessee. Oh, you're in Tennessee. That's not deep south, man.
Yeah.
I guess because I'm
more
souther. I'm souther than you are.
It rains every day there, doesn't it? So
yeah, you probably don't have to worry about water where you are.
You probably don't. That's amazing.
Oh, swamps. So you're in this. What part of Tennessee is swampy? I lived in Chattanooga, so I'm familiar with that part of Tennessee. I'm not real familiar with the swampy part of Tennessee. Adam Sandler's father is from the deep south. That's an interesting fact.
You have to grow in pots and raised beds because you're living on a rocky mountain. Well, good for you, living on a mountain.
When people say China's a communist country, that's false. Many people still own their wealth. It's not capitalist. It's a pseudo cap. It's what they want us to be. China is totally ask. We just did the Munger video. Watch the Munger video and you'll learn, oh, they're capitalist, but somehow they're totalitarian. Ask Jack Ma. Ask Jack Ma if China is capitalist. Jack Ma, a billionaire, had to go to a re-education camp. You ask Jack Ma.
It's not that great, y'all. It's not that great.
It's not that cool, and they're not capitalists. And guess what? Guess who else isn't capitalist? America. America hasn't read the Wall Street and the Bolsheviks. Read Anthony Sutton. Read Wall Street and the Nazis. Right. Read some books. Right. Yeah. Please, somebody read a book.
Yeah.
Somebody read a book that wasn't written like two weeks ago.
I mean, there's so much wrong going on in China. I don't think we have to you're listening to the wrong.
Yeah, it's real. I mean, it's really strange the way that it's a dialectic to paint. Like there's these pockets of hope, and like all the beasts aren't beasts. Like the Russian beast isn't a beast, and the China beast isn't a beast, and the American beast isn't a beast. They're all beasts, y'all. And it's, hey, look, if the scamdemic didn't teach you anything, they're all in on it. Which country didn't scamdemic all of its people? Which country? Right? Which country didn't vaccinate everybody? Which one?
I don't know. I would move there.
Yeah,
Y'all look
the
at
don't know is because they don't exist. Okay, Sweden was the closest, and they still vaxxed everybody.
Yeah, I was looking.
Sweden didn't lock down,
I was
but
looking.
everybody got juiced, y'all. Everybody is in on it. Where were all these great beacons of hope and capitalism? Where was Putin?
There was like
with
these little weird trivial like islands.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That
He's right. There was these African. That's true.
yes, there was these
There
really
were
obscure places, but you know what was happening with them
and
was
and what happened to their presidents? Oh, they accidentally died somehow.
right. Well, and the rest of the world were putting pressure on them to do all the same things that they were doing. Like we didn't like that, like say, I'm gonna say the wrong country if I try to say it, but like I don't know if it was like Madagascar or like
Kirplakistan.
it was like very obscure like countries that we're not doing all of the things. And then, yeah, we're, they're going to sanction them. And, all the big wigs that run the world, they didn't like it. It was all a control game.
I currently work with someone that was a missionary in China. Yeah. And he will tell you that China is ultra communist, and incredibly totalitarian and despotic. And he was a missionary there for 4 years. Yeah. And we currently know a brother in Russia that preaches in the Ukraine, right? And he will sing the praises of neither government. All right.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Me and the kids were reading an article. It's been a little while ago now, and it was called, I think it's like, talking about like the people that are born in China, but they don't have a legal birth certificate and I think it was like I forget what they called these people, but they were basically blacklisted from their own country and they had no right to anything. So it was like as if they didn't exist because in China, when you are born and you have a birth certificate and you're also given like a government issued like it's your status, so it's like it's your social status of if you're like in the country, like it's you get like a card or it's like marked onto your birth certificate like that's you're a country person, like you will always be a country person, you will have no right to go into the city and work, you like everything is a caste system. So and then for the city people, so it's not like here where we're like, hey, if you don't like it in the city, you could just move to the country. Not in China, you can't do that. It's not like that. And if you try to do that, you're super duper black ops and you're not even human. Like you have no right to do anything within like as a it's just crazy. I can't remember what it was called. It might have been like called like the blacklisted people of China. And they're China nationalists, like they're born in that country. But it was, I don't know if it was because their parents had too many children. Like, I don't know if it was like if they didn't want them registered. I can't remember all of it. It's been a while ago.
Well, in China, they've been limiting the number of children you can have for an incredibly long period. And that's not a capitalist freedom thing either.
Right.
When they tell you how many boys and girls you can have, or if you can have one boy and you can't have any girls.
It was really sad.
Like that's not very capitalist and
No.
it's not very free.
No. And if you were born in the city, like
it's very American.
That was
now.
marked like on your certificate. That's the only place you would have legal right to work would be in that jurisdiction.
Well, we've been on for an hour, Mom.
Yeah.
And it's 8 o'clock.
We talked them down.
And I'm old.
From China. There were some people that were getting ready to move to China, I think.
Don't forget, it was the China virus. That's the other thing. And Trump's still spouting this China virus thing when we know that when we know that DARPA and Fauci, right, and who funded it and where it came from, right? And he's still, it's just wild, y'all. Look, we need to break free. If we could all do one thing. Oh, look, our solar lights just came on. Must be getting dark out. We need to break free from this geopolitical paradigm as they approve the raising of the debt ceiling, as they bipartisanly approve the raising of the debt ceiling.
Yes. Maybe it's because
the Republicans don't want to get blamed for not funding stuff. Cool story, bro. Are we $8 quadrillion bazillion in debt yet? I mean, when do we get to do that?
I think if we just can all use our own critical thinking skills and not listen to the critical thinking propaganda.
And the only guys I'm willing to listen to for an extended period of time is if they start talking these right ink talking points and they want to like just, like the Tim Pools and whatnot. I can't take it. Like you are not being critical thinking. I mean, and if anybody's even listening to these, I guess these are the new kind of presidential debates where they don't debate anymore, but now they're just going to like lambaste each other on social media, I guess. You just really can't, you can't discount this stuff. I mean, but I digress because I will be voting for neither, but I'm going to keep on doing what we're doing.
Sounds good.
All right, y'all. We're signing off. Uh-oh. Thank you, David, for buying honey money.
Awesome.
Thank you all y'all that support us. We greatly appreciate it.
Yes.
We enjoy it. It's why we do what we do.
Mm-hmm.
And the boys appreciate it.
They love packing the orders and getting all the things out to y'all. So if you're interested in anything over there, go check it out. There's lots of good stuff over there at TheTexasBoys.com. And we had fun tonight. It was awesome to hang out with y'all. And hopefully we weren't all doom and gloom. We enjoyed talking about the garden.
We're never all doom and gloom.
We're never that. So that's all.
We'll see y'all.
Good night.
Have a great night.
Alrighty.
See you on the next video.
Bye.